Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy game. We here at TripleJump aren't exactly known for our devout faith, except of course for our Lord and Saviour Billy Ray Walrus, blessed be his tusks. And to be honest with ourselves, we're probably more sinful than we have any right to be. So, who better to talk about religious video games? It may be a little bit cheap to pick on Christian games specifically, but there are a lot of them, and far more than any other religion for that matter. Those of the Christian faith have set a precedent for turning their passion for the Bible into movies, TV shows, books, and other pieces of media, and not all of them are very good. It's the thought that counts, I suppose. While we don't want to knock anyone's creativity or passion for making games, the volume of strange and badly thought out Christian titles does mean we have plenty of material for at least one list on them. We aren't the first, and we certainly won't be the last. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and here are the 10 weirdest Christian games. Number 10. Logos Bible Video Game. We'll start off with a more recent game. In fact, this game is so new that its Wikipedia page is still a draft. Created by Spanish company Te Comprendo in the Unity engine, Logos Bible Video Game took 3 years to develop before being released in April 2020 for PC. In the Logos Bible Video Game, you play, surprisingly, through the Bible. Split into 3 chapters, Genesis, Noah, and Exodus, you can probably guess what the major plot points consist of. Genesis, following the creation of the universe, is an on-rails tutorial of button mechanics, creating light, spawning trees, and finally being dumped into a human meat sack to kickstart the human race. The next 2 chapters are more about open-world exploration, with Noah and Moses wandering around their respective countrysides and cities, completing quests and going through the beats of their Bible stories. Interestingly enough, rather than a vague Jesus saves message, the game goes into the origins of demons and the more complicated family tree of biblical characters. It's very interesting, but also quite a lot to dump on a player in one cutscene. Wait, hold on, slow down. How do you spell Nephilim? Number 9. Left Behind, Eternal Forces. A reviewer for the original book series once described Left Behind as people disappear and things blow up, which, yeah, that checks out. Released for Windows in 2006, Tom Clancy's Everybody's Gone to the Rapture, Left Behind Eternal Forces, was developed by Christian gaming company Inspired Media Entertainment, which went under in 2011 due to fraud. It's always the people you least expect. Left Behind EF follows the born-again Christian main characters as they attempt to save the world from the clutches of the Antichrist. You do this by traveling through New York City in a zoomed-out, top-down view that can't be good for your eyes, converting the neutral-minded and the sinful to Christianity while avoiding getting into fights, which not only drain your faith bar, but risk you getting damned for eternity. While the mechanics don't really reward excessive violence, it drew controversy from many who said it was dehumanizing to non-Christians, including Jewish people, Muslims, musicians, and untrained friend women, apparently. The claims that the characters go around killing people while chanting Jesus is Lord might be untrue, but considering how little you can actually see, who knows? Can we move on now? My eyes hurt. Number 8. King of Kings, The Early Years. Oh, wisdom tree, never change. Presenting yet another unlicensed game for the NES, 1991's King of Kings, The Early Years sadly isn't a wacky failed sitcom pilot to join the likes of Heil Honey, I'm Home, but rather a very literal following of 3 parts of, well, Jesus' early years. Like its spiritual successor Logos, it has 3 chapters that can each be played separately. The Wise Men, The Flight to Egypt, and Jesus and the Temple, all with jazzy 64-bit carols playing in the background. The Wise Men level has you play as a wise man, collecting the gold, frankincense, and myrrh scattered about the desert. Flight to Egypt follows the Of Nazareth family traveling to Egypt on the back of a donkey, and Jesus and the Temple follows beleaguered second dad Joseph tracking down his wayward son about a decade later. Your game is occasionally interrupted in between levels by quick quiz sections on facts from the Bible, just to check that you aren't having too much fun. The best part of the game are the camels and donkeys you ride around on, which are very cute. What isn't cute is the end screen. What are you going to do with my heart, Jesus? I need it. Number 7. The Bible Game. Game shows are way too sinful these days. All those celebrity panel shows and quiz shows, and the less we say about naked attraction, the better. But how do we make them more devout? Well, mass media and Crave Entertainment presented us with such an alternative for the Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 2, and Xbox back in 2005. While the Bible game's title could easily be used to describe every single game on this list, it is somewhat unique in that it adopts a strange Trivial Pursuit-style game show format. Meant to be played as a party game with your other God-fearing friends, you compete against one another through a series of mini-games that follow famous Bible stories, as well as good old trivia question sections just to make sure you've got the thing memorized. Escape Egypt through the parted sea, rebuild the map of the Holy Land, probably for yet another crusade, old habits die hard, bring down the walls of Jericho, climb Jacob's ladder, gather up Noah's animals, stone Philistines, and pull down a rarely united humanity by toppling the Tower of Babel. Good job, kids. Now you have to learn French. Number 6. Catechumen. If you've come across any other coverage of weird religious games, then you're probably not surprised to see this one cropping up again and again, and that's because it is also very weird. If Horrible Histories was remotely accurate, Romans didn't really like Christians all that much. In order to avoid persecution, Christians had to train for years in order to become an official catechumen. And as a newly confirmed catechumen, it is now your job to rescue your fellow believers from the catacombs of Rome before they get eaten by lions. Released for PC in 2000, developers Enlightening Software sunk $830,000 into the game, making it the most expensive Christian game made at that time. The company did end up dissolving in 2009 though, so that was probably cold comfort. But don't be fooled, this is a good Christian game, so naturally you won't be killing anyone. That's what hellish games like Doom would have you do. You do get a sword from a weirdly buff angel, but it is actually a gun sword that defeats the grabby-handed guards and lions by zapping them with pure holiness. You're not killing them, silly. Look, they're praying. That's how lions pray. Number 5. Guitar praise. Who needs years of lessons and practice to become a good musician? I certainly didn't, so I am now officially not a boring child. Of course, we all know that rock and roll is the work of the devil, but as a decent, God-loving parent, how can you keep your child happy by getting them the new popular game without letting them know the horrors of mainstream music? Christian rock is indeed the only answer. Guitar Praise was released in 2008 by developers Digital Praise, who were also behind the Dance-inspired devout dance mat game Dance Praise. While Guitar Praise controls very similarly to Guitar Hero, you couldn't use the same controller, just so they made sure that you had no incentive to buy the sinful rock music game as well. With all the songs vetted to make sure they were properly devout and didn't contain any foul language, Digital Praise also removed all avatars and bandmates from the screen, as they thought any visible band members could be a bad influence on the innocent minds of the players. It's mixed messaging though. Little Timmy might decide he wants to be a musician, but Left Behind already warned us about them. What to do? Number 4. Captain Bible in Dome of Darkness. What do kids love? Superheroes. And what should they love? Jesus. Obviously. Come on guys, keep up. Released for the MS-DOS in 1994 by faith-based production company Bridgestone Multimedia Group, Captain Bible follows a weirdly futuristic utopian city which is experiencing the greatest threat mankind has ever faced: religious doubts. The nebulously defined enemy has built a tower of deception within the walls of the city, creating a field of anti-truth and causing the populace to fall for simple falsehoods. Captain Bible has to travel through the city, converting people away from false prophets and wolves in sheep's clothing until he has enough to help control the city's giant robot and destroy the tower. Throughout the game, you're faced with Russian Twitter bots, deception cybers, who fire cyber lies at you, like you are a fluke of nature, just a random meaningless event, and you don't need God in your day-to-day life, only in emergencies. We can only assume having him be your emergency contact on the paperwork for a kayaking excursion. You must recite corresponding Bible verses to disprove this basic nihilist philosophy, and then stab or punch the robot into submission. I don't know what Captain Bible's arch-nemesis Bible Man would make of all this though. Number 3. Jesus Christ RPG, or JCRPG for the. People often say that their favourite type of game is action-adventure, horror, or shoot 'em up. They're all wrong. Everyone's favourite type of game is universal: free. With a layout like a Pokemon game and menus like Final Fantasy, JCRPG was released for free as a bundle on Steam by Whole Tone Games, who do seem to have a sense of humour about themselves considering one of their last games was an Oedipus dating sim. That sense of humour does carry over into JCRPG, if the name wasn't already giving that away, with the continued stinging reminder to Joseph that he isn't Jesus' real dad, and the letter summoning them to Bethlehem, including references to tax havens off the shore of the Cayman Islands. Although that letter is apparently signed by Quirinus, so it's probably actually Voldemort that's waiting for them when they get there. The game is what you would expect, an RPG version of the Tales of Jesus' life, and is a rare example of a Christian game with proper fighting mechanics, building up a team of Mary, Joseph, the wise men, and the Big J himself to take on demons, tourists, and oh my god, it is Voldemort! Number 2. Saints of Virtue. Released in 1999 by Shine Studios, Saints of Virtue was the precursor to Catechumen and one of the first Christian first-person shooters, a subgenre that I'm still amazed exists 9 points into this list. While the game takes on a more medieval style rather than its successor's Roman setting, Saints of Virtue actually takes place inside the heart of a teenage boy. I suppose he has an old soul. Like most teenagers, he has a lot of inner conflict with himself. In order to help defeat his personal issues, he dons the armor of God and uses the Sword of the Spirit to zap his inner demons with truth juice. This is a purely representational journey, of course, with the boy's own self-indulgence, worldliness, vanity, and self-righteousness appearing in the form of giant floating heads that chase after you. You must defeat them with the return of your gun sword in order to escape the amphitheater of apathy and the caves of loneliness to free yourselves from the ravages of your own mind. Most teenagers just write poetry, but whatever works for you, I suppose. Number 1. The Zoo Race. Yes, of course this game is here, do you really think that little of us? Made by Randall Alamo in 2007, the Zoo Race has been covered by loads of gaming channels already, but again that's because, well, just look at this. While it does have the self-awareness to call itself the craziest race game for the PC computer on its website, hang on, isn't that personal computer? This game is difficult to explain, but I will try. Hannah the librarian laughs at Reuben for believing in Noah's Ark. Hannah transforms into a horse. Reuben transforms into a rhino. They, along with animalized bystanders, begin to race across the world while a slightly clogged up sounding god referees. And then Noah breakdances over the hills and far away. With me so far? No? Good. I'm not either. Horses and pigs tearing through a blocky, flooded Israel, shooting themselves out of cannons, venturing through the subway system and into the very depths of hell before taking a break to cut a rug on the dance floor. It's hard to describe just how strange it all is. It did prove popular though, as Cougar Interactive's next game, The Battle of Angels, has just been released on Steam, and honestly, I don't want to know what madness lies in there, but apparently it involves boxing. And that's our list. What other games do you play to cleanse your soul, and how cursed did these ones make you feel? Let us know in the comments below. You can follow myself and TripleJump on Twitter here, and while you're at it, why not support the things you enjoy by having a look at our Patreon? Finally, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. I'm Ben from TripleJump, and thanks for watching.